So staying with us, you're watching Daybreak, and it's time now for the paper review. Today our paper review is with a difference. We've got an audience and a panel as well, and they'll be looking at some of the stories in the papers, which I want to inform you about right now. So if you grab whatever paper you will this morning, you'll probably find the same story on the front page of the Daily Nation. Governor's fury as Uhuru blocks cash. A picture there of President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the wording is "Take it or leave it." Flexing of muscles between the National Assembly and the Senate over revenue division escalates to the highest office, and President Kenyatta lays it down to governors: "I don't have more money. Use what you have or generate your own." Okay, and if you turn to the front page of the Standard, no extra cash, Uhuru tells governors, and the president now broke the silence yesterday on the raging counties revenue debate, telling governors to take what they have been given because government has no money. But there's a response there from the Council of Governors chairperson, Wycliffe Oparanya, who says in this second term, devolved governance is being attacked through the denial of critical services, and that is the views of the Council of Governors, and they said that yesterday after the president spoke. But let's get the views of our guest here today. What are their thoughts? How has devolution worked in the counties that they come from? Do they feel it needs more cash? And Trevor will take them through that right now.
Isn't that the biggest question, Higgs? Does devolution need more cash? Should more money go to the counties? The president says this is your de la rue to print pesa, kuna pesa kupeana. Let's find out what they think. And Shiko Kehika, she's the founder, Tribalist Youth. Asante sana for coming in. Eko D. Da. Musician, and very needs no introduction, is also here. Floyd Mkabana, Brand Kenya CEO, is also with us. Asante sana. I know you cannot make political comments, so I'll skip you and go straight to Shiko, and then we'll also come to our panelists who are also here, young people who will tell us what they think in terms of the county funding as well. We have Elkana Cheruiyot, Elizabeth Madowo, Asenat Mwithiga, Eric Owuor, and Rema Aida. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. We'll also find out from you, but let's start with you, Shiko. What do you think? Should more money go to the counties? And first of all, and also, what do you make of this old hula baloo of the graft situation in Kenya? Several dams not going through, and then now more money should go to the counties.
You see what? One, my heart is bleeding right now. Reason being, I think in Kenya we have this tendency, when the president stands and says, we have no money, but then at the same time we're being told billions are being stolen. What is this being stolen? Papers? You know, it's a question we all need to ask ourselves. But when he says no extra money, I would want to say no to him, but at the same time I would want to say yes to him. Because we have money now and again being returned to the treasury from counties. Why? Because we have people who are not managers as our governors. They cannot manage the little they have. They either steal it or take it back. So no development, no nothing in counties.
They claim that the reason the money goes back, it's because it's remitted late and they cannot spend it within the stipulated time.
Wow, why? Because we don't have anything governing us. If a county can work for 2 years without the CIDP, then it only means we have no plan on how to spend our monies.
Okay. So verdict is no more money for counties?
No, I would want them to get more money, but only if they can spend it
in a prudent way.
Yes.
All right. Eko?
I think wanafaa kumesha uzito kabla wapatie hivyo. Waangalie kuna places, kuna county unaweza ona walido imeenda. For example, tuseme Nairobi na Sonko, kuna vitu wanafanya watu.
Out of all these 47 counties, ni county moja tu peke yake imepata clean bill of health when it comes to audit. Out of 47, exactly. Just Makwini.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying.
So the other 46, kila mtu ako na maswali ka 50 za kujibu.
Exactly, ndio nasema uzito, sasa wamesha uzito. Kuna mahali hatujatumia hata BOP, inarudishwa venye ilikam. Na wao ndo wanadai ilikuja late. Alafu kuna watu na perform card sema venye wasema Makueni.
Kivuda.
Kwani yake inakujanga mapema?
That's the biggest question.
Yeah, waangalie performance yako before ku release next.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You have the microphone. Just introduce yourself and give us your views on this.
Well, my name is Eric Owuor. I'm a youth advocate. But my opinion on this is that we've moved past the areas where a president used to make some roadside declaration that we do not have money. The money is not for the president. The president does not give the country money, or they give the county money. The county and the national government are funded by the citizen and by the borrowing that they get from other donors or well-wishers. And so it is not for him to say there is no money. Let everybody do his role to know. The Senate will know whether there is money. The Treasury knows whether there is money or not. However, I only agree with him on one thing, is that we must be accountable for money that is released to the counties. So many counties are not are not able to account for what they've been given. Not even on the project, not even on what they've spent. But that does not make county looks uglier than the national government. We've lost more on the national government than what we've lost on the counties.
Okay. As you pass the microphone to Liz, I'd like to hear your view back there because you already have the microphone. Just start with your name and then tell us what you think. There's also a proposal from the president that kama mnataka pesa, mkate salary zenu kwanza and then zikuje.
So my name is Cheruiyot Elkana. I think in my opinion, the county governments, they have already had their budget. So what they need right now is the pocket money.
Yeah.
So we have heard of projects that have stalled because in the county governments. So let them first account for the pending bills that they have not been paid and the projects that have not been that have not been undertaken. That is the county government. So in this case, in fact, in my opinion, they should even reduce it further because they surely don't have an agenda of why they want the amount of money to be raised for the counties.
Yeah. All right, Liz, just introduce yourself in full for the sake of those who don't know you and also what do you do?
My name is Liz Maduro. I work in fashion and PR. So I don't think the counties need any more money. Speaking from my county, I come from Siaya County, and honestly, so far, I was just home maybe 3 weeks ago, and it's the same. It's been the same all these years, before devolution, after devolution. There's not much that has changed. So until I see that there's actual change being done with the money that they're already being given, they do not need any more money. And maybe, they should cut their salaries if they want more money. I'm fully behind that.
All right, back there as well. Just pass the microphone to Rehema and then we'll find out what she thinks. Rehema, just go ahead with your introduction. First of all, what do you do? And then let us know what you think in terms of counties. Should they get more money or not? Or are you neutral about it?
My name is Rehema Aida, and I'm an IT person and also a businesswoman. So in terms of whether they should get more money, I think for you to get more money, you kind of need to prove that you actually need more money. So whatever little you're given, you need to work with it first before you can start asking for more. Otherwise, let's first account for what has been given and where it has been spent and how first.
All right. Asenat, full introduction and what you do, and then you go ahead.
My name is Asenath Mithiga. I'm a gender and communications expert. I'm also a youth advocate. So devolution is about devolving services and resources to the counties, yes. But for the longest time, the how is a question that we may be asking. And if they want to be given more money, what have they been doing with the money that they've been allocated in the first place? What is the justification behind the more money? We are looking at counties where instead of having these services devolved and the common mwananchi having access to these services, it is about people utilizing the money for self-gain. People have been saying for the longest time that we devolved corruption at the county level. So why do you want more money? Give a justification. You can hear the young people here, we are all saying that we don't believe that they need more money. First, let them account for the money that have been given, and if there is any justifiable reason, then it can be looked into that.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, has devolution worked in your view?
It is a process. And I believe
that's a no.
it's not. We are not there.
Yeah.
We cannot lie to ourselves and say that devolution has worked.
So this belief
but
that
are
if
we
pump in
willing
more
to
money,
work? That is the question.
So the belief that if we pump in more money, then we'll see a difference. You're not buying that.
Money does not translate to services. It is how you use the meager resources you have to be able to serve the common mwananchi. And if the people then believe that you're doing something, they will support you in looking for money. It does not just mean that it's only the national government that should give the county money. But if the common mwananchi believes in you, they will help you source for these resources to be able to better their lives. We're in this together. But show us that you're working for us and with us, and we support you.
All right. Higgs, you see, now it seems the president has a lot of support on this side, that first they have to account for what they have before they should get more. Anything else on the newspapers?
That's right. As they've asked those tough questions to the governors who've been running devolution, they should probably ask those questions to the national government, because the national government has its fair share of scandals. I take you to page 8 of the Standard. Very depressing. On one hand, the Solicitor General Ken Ogeto, they're advising that Kenyans will have no choice but to pay 65 billion Kenya shillings borrowed for the construction of Kimwarer and Aror dams. His advisory revealed narrow options available for Kenya. And when we say Kenya here, we mean taxpayers, many of whom are in this room today. You will have to pay for this, even though there is, it's obvious that the dams are not there, and the company has gone into bankruptcy, meaning the dams will probably not be built. But if that wasn't bad enough, to add insult to injury, there's a picture there of Water CS Simon Chelugui saying stalled Itare Dam may cost state 11 billion Kenya shillings. Once again, by the term state, we mean you Kenyans, taxpayers, all of us, who could lose possibly 11 billion Kenya shillings should the government terminate a contract with an Italian firm at the center of bribery claims. And the Water CS was speaking yesterday before our National Assembly Environmental Committee. And of course, our Enoch Sikole yesterday also went to Kitengela to take a look at another dam that never achieved its purpose and right now is in a complete state of, unused disrepair, if I can use terms like that as well. Who is going to pay for all these projects, Trevor? Why did they get to this? And should there be losses like in the state of Itare Dam, who should be held responsible? What are the thoughts of your audience on this?
Keheka, we'll start with you. Who should be held responsible? And what do you think in this situation? Because I know, I am so sorry. It's not me, it's the headlines.
I don't know. I'm just looking at it and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. We already said we don't have money.
Yeah.
Where is this money coming from?
This was money that was allocated, and the DPP is saying the dam was initially 43 billion shillings. It moved to 63 billion shillings. He says the 17 billion shillings negotiated in between was completely unnecessary, but 19 billion shillings has already been paid out in questionable transactions.
And why do we still have the same people not prosecuted?
They are being prosecuted right now.
Because it shouldn't be a process anymore. It should not be a slow process. You're killing Kenya, then shut it down. You see,
I feel the frustration in your voice.
Yeah. I seriously and honestly feel depressed because I look at my life as a young person and I look at other young people and I feel like these old men and women we have in there are killing us. And we need to shut this country off. We cannot go on like this. We can't.
By that you mean prosecution?
Yes, or rather let's just say, you know what, enough is enough. We elected you, we can recall you. Let us start doing that one by one. We are tired.
Eko, to recall our say.
Acha niulize swali. Kwani hizi dozi kipotea watu wagapio wamelost exist tena? Ama wanakomezieka wapi kwa nyumba? Hakuna vile watu wanaenda zichukua tuzirudishe bala Mkenya kuendea na lipia hii pesa.
No, there's a bit of progress pia. Unaweza ona EACC kama juzi walipata mse alikuwa easy explain 320 million alitoa wapi, so some part of his mansion is being taken back, and also he had around 120 million in his bank account, which could also not explain. But shida sasa ni your process iko slow. It takes a bit of time.
Sasa kitu mimi najaribu kusema ni I think we should work on that process very fast. Ni swift, yani ni leo hii kazi hii pesa unairudisha leo yote. Like hiyo damu itabaki imetengenezwa either way. We check your account, tuangalie transactions zako, tuangalie kama kuna mandai umenunua mpya mabugati, labda umepeleka watu hii majuu, hiyo school fees inarefundiwa, inarudishwa. Hiyo school fees ushalipa already, tunachukua. Yeah, we look for ways for acha niseme, we need as a nation we need to look for ways to redeem the money. Hiyo pesa imepotea. We make sure kuna zile acha niseme serious measures na zinafaa kwa so fast swift. Ifai kwa kitu inachukua hata miezi, ni kitu tumeamua, tunajua ni wewe umechukua hido. Wenye tunafanyanga mtaani kazi ya kuisha, acha niseme wenye tunafanya na mwizi mdogo tufanye na mwizi mkubwa. Kazi ya kuisha tumekushika leo, hiyo pesa ulikuwa umeficha wapi chini ya kitanda, hebu itoe. Inarudishwa yote na si ati mtu jirani ndiye analipia hiyo.
Ni wewe mwenyewe unalipia. Okay. Yeah. Liz, you have the microphone. We're talking about solutions here because so far I hear faster prosecutions here. He's talking about asset recovery. How do we get ourselves out of this whole monster called corruption? From your view, and I know you've seen a lot of headlines, a lot of corruption coming through.
As a Kenyan, what Shiko is saying is that literally every day I'm at the point where I don't want to read, I don't want to watch the news, I don't want to read the newspapers, because every single day there's a scandal. Some money has been stolen. Literally, there's no day you can just be like, oh, what a wonderful day in this country. The sun is shining bright. We're just having a good day. No money was stolen. That's not the case. So right now, if there's prosecution, but it needs to be faster, as they're saying, and it needs to be more efficient, because also it's very targeted. The big people who actually steal the money, it's like they look for the smaller people down there, the ones who got like $1 million shillings. The ones who got like the 20 million, they're like, oh, those guys are in their pockets. So it needs to be swift, and it needs to be across the board, not just the people who don't or cannot afford the defense. It needs to be for everyone who is involved in that corruption.
Eric, what do you think?
Very depressing state of affair there. Because we have reached to a level that even no figure scares us anymore. We've heard of 19 billion being lost, 63, 10 billion in the NYS scandal. And today, even if you say 100 billion lost, Kenyans are used to figures of graft to date. But I think what Kenyans want to see is thieves being taken to jail, and not what we call the kamata or the Friday arrest. They are not yielding any fruit anymore. Because I do not know why a case, somebody has been arrested, we know the money is lost. That is true. So the money does not, we do not have ghosts in banks, in accounts of these states or departments that get money out. There must be somebody. And that person is what we are looking for. If there's somebody that has been arrested and then we get to a court and we are told, this person, we do not have enough evidence. And then we get to ask ourselves, then why didn't we get the right person to take to court than take somebody that is not a culprit? What we need to see, and I would also tell Mr. President, he's met a lot of furies in barazas, in funerals, but he is only making some baby step that is not helping Kenyans. Kenyans are getting tired. We need a solution. And the solution is that we must arrest and recover the stolen properties.
Asenath, there's this argument that we get the leaders we deserve. As the youth, we are the ones who elect them, and now we already know, because by the time they come to seek for your votes, the first thing they'll do is give you a handout. Where do you think that money is coming from, and what makes you think they will not want to recover it when they get into office? So should we turn the mirror to ourselves and just avoid this whole backlashing of the government and speak to ourselves as the youth, because we are the ones who elect them?
I think we are to blame in a way or the other. Because I cast a ballot, I vote a leader who is supposed to be a servant, but at the end of it all, they're serving their interests. They will come and give me 500, 1,000, please vote for me. I'm not asking myself, how wealthy is this person that he can afford all this money to give us? And how is he going to recover this money? Even if maybe you're wealthy enough, you of course have to recover this money. You don't ask yourself, where will this money come from? Are we electing leaders from a point of they are able to serve us, or is because of we want an interest, or we are aligned to this person, I'm voting you in, but at the end of it all, there's a favor in return. So we are also part to blame of the blame that we have voted leaders who may not be able to serve us, and they're there to serve their interest. And that is how corruption is killing this country. And let me tell you how scary it is. There's a survey that was done by Aga Khan, and it says that young people are fine with corruption.
More than 50%.
More than 50% are willing to engage in corruption, as long as they are not caught. Because it has become fine. We are okay with corruption. As long as you're not caught, you're fine. But how are we going to deal with corruption? From electing leaders who are accountable and of integrity to having a mind shift, this and a cultural shift, because now it is rooted from where? From a child all the way to a leader. And also the issue of our leaders, they need to be held accountable. There are reasons why they're called the accounting officers.
Yeah.
So if they have, you've been caught that you've embezzled funds and you've been involved in corruption deals, this thing of stepping aside is not enough.
Yeah.
You know?
You need to be prosecuted.
You have to be
All right.
prosecuted to the fullness of the law.
Okay.
And then that way we can believe that we are working on corruption.
Okay.
We have to involve everybody to have that shift, a mind shift.
All right.
Of
I want to
ending
get
corruption.
some 2 more quick views from Rehema. Rehema, and I know you've been away for some time. When you compare the systems from where you are, I won't explain where it is, but and here, what are we missing here? Is it a mental situation? Is it a mental state that we have, or is it the failing systems? Because you've seen the way it's done out there, and then compare it to Kenya. It would take quite a while.
I think the problem is patriotism.
Yeah.
Just that will to come in and work for the people. I think that if you ask me, most leaders lack that.
Yeah.
Because they come in and they want to do things in their own interest. You didn't vote for yourself. There are people who voted for you. There are people who made sure that you got there. Work for them. This thing of coming in and stealing money and doing what, and it's not like you're stealing and then you're saying, okay, I've stolen 1 billion, let me take 900,000 and throw it on the streets. No, you're stealing 1 billion and that 1 billion is yours and yours only.
Yeah.
So we lack, our leaders lack patriotism.
Yeah.
That thing of working for the country and working for the people. I mean, that's the reason why you asked us to vote.
So there's no political goodwill in your view. Yeah.
No.
And Elkana, you're ready to get your views, and I see you, Liz, is also banding very briefly. Yeah. Elkana, go ahead.
So in this case,
Yeah.
we talk about the issues of dams, but there are other projects that have stalled. In my constituency, there's a stadium that stalled since 2012.
Yeah.
Till now. It has never been completed. So in this case,
Most of the stadiums promised have not been completed.
yeah, they have not been
so-
completed, and
Yeah.
it was during the era of Mwai Kibaki.
Yeah.
So in this case, I think the leniency that is in this government, because they know the root cause. If the government decided today
Yeah.
to narrow down to the root cause of the corruption, it will come and eat its people. The people who are in government. The reason as to why you see these the members of parliament, they don't want actually to step up in the fight against corruption.
Okay.
Is because it is inside the house. So in this case, it's saddening for us to realize that there is money for graft, but there is no money for employing the large number of youths who have no access to jobs right now.
Okay.
So this thing, I think the government has to come clear in this case of graft.
Okay. Liz, one final comment.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to ask Rehema, do you think it's patriotism and not necessarily because systems work? Because where she was is that it's difficult for you to get away with stealing the taxpayers' funds because you will be prosecuted.
Yeah.
So is it because it's not necessarily patriotism, because honestly, when you get in power, of course, you're a little self-serving. You have things you want to achieve. So is it because it's not that you're not patriotic and don't love your country, but it's that you know that if you do steal this money, then something is going to happen. There are going to be consequences for
So
your
it's
actions.
because we know there are no
So our
consequences.
systems
Yeah.
don't work.
Okay.
That's the problem.
So it's the systems.
It's the
rather than
systems.
the people.
The leaders, they're not great, but if there was a way to actually prosecute them and get consequences for their actions, maybe they wouldn't steal as much.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. And Eko, very briefly.
I think the problem is not patriotism according to leaders, from leaders' perspective. I think us as Kenyans, we're not patriotic, especially when it comes to choosing leaders.
Yeah.
When we are voting, we mostly vote for ule anakaa alikuwa na pesa, huyu hawezi kula
Ama ni mtu
kwa sababu
wetu.
ako na pesa. Then 2 ni mtu wetu, ama 3 ni party. Hii chama huku imeshika. Hii ndio chama ya huku. So we vote for parties instead of individuals.
Okay. All right.
Huwezi vote ya mtu wa rugby akaperform kwa football.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. And on that note, we're taking a quick break here.
Yes,
And
that's
day break.
When we come back, culture, language, and modernization is our big discussion, of course. And there are interesting views from our panel. For example, Ekodida. Do you know his Kenya? The name that he was given when he was born.
I know it, but I will let him say
I once tried to get it from him and he completely refused.
Tumia mpesa.
Oh yeah, maybe if you do that as well. And he's come with his kids, who he says are tribeless.
Yes.
Maybe we'll bring them on at the very end to tell us
find out what
that means.
Because this is coming at a time when the nominated MCS Sylvia Musei is having a motion to compel City Hall Education Department to develop a policy requiring ECDE centers to have a lesson on language and culture. Kihika is a founder of Tribeless Youth. I'm sure she's not very happy about that. But the argument is that if you can speak your language, then you're almost directly related to your culture, and the socialization will also be different.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's right. So
yeah,
this is a show that we want you as the viewer to engage in. Do you speak your mother tongue? What do you think about those who don't? And what is the